ex asked for a divorce 4 days after my wedding.
Out of whatever anger Kevin had, he ripped that door off its hinges.
Occasionally, the wedding itself can bring forth a lot of problems in the relationship. In fact, it could be the end of it. And that's the theme for today's video. We are still in wedding season. So I wanted to share some viral videos of weddings ending the actual marriage itself. We're gonna decide together how red flag worthy each one is on a scale of 1 to 10. And maybe some of these videos will be somewhat educational for you folks in your own relationships, in your own lives, and everything like that. So this first creator, Amanda, posted this very long TikTok series where she talked about how her husband divorced her after 4 days. It's very long. I think it's like 23 parts. So naturally, I'm gonna summarize. The couple had been together for 5 years at this point, and they had just gotten engaged, and the husband was not a US citizen yet, so he really wanted to be a US citizen. So he approached Amanda with an idea. Hey, instead of having this very long, dragged out wedding planning process that takes like a year or whatever, what if we just rush to the courthouse like now and then just get married now? Naturally, she felt a little off about this, not only because it felt extremely rushed, but also they were having problems in their relationship before this. But they've been together 5 years at this point, so she just felt like it was just the necessary step that they had to take. So they established a plan to get married at the courthouse and then like have a full family celebration afterwards, but that did not happen.
They were like, oh, we're not coming. And his brother decided to come, but like his parents were like, oh, we're not coming.
You have to watch, flat guy. It's your job. I have autonomy, Clayton. I will not be watching, okay?
Which was rather odd, you know, it's pretty odd. But what was really odd was the reasoning for the divorce. Since this was a very simple wedding and rushed, they didn't plan a honeymoon or anything, but Amanda decided to surprise him with a very last minute, like luxury hotel stay as like a gift to celebrate. And it turned into a very big drag out fight in front of the whole family.
He goes, well, why would you waste money on that? You always have to do too much.
They got into a yelling match. The husband stormed off. He got drunk with his cousin at the hotel bar, and then he started ruminating about everything. He was like, hey, maybe I made a mistake. She tries too hard. She cares too much. She's gonna be a lot, and it's gonna drive me nuts. So 4 days later, they got divorced.
That's it? That's the reasoning?
Yes, that's why they ended it. Naturally, clearly, a ploy for this dude to get citizenship, and just very lazily, crappily done, you know? Just a horrible justification for the divorce, but also super consistent with his character, apparently, because she later detailed that he was very controlling and narcissistic and abusive, so maybe this whole thing was for the best. Rating, this is a 10 out of 10, for sure. Now, you think having problems on day one of a marriage is bad, but what about ones that happen before they even start?
My husband forgot his wedding ring when he went to Vegas for a bachelor party with his friends.
You're not even cruising for a bruising right now. You're speeding for a bleeding, okay?
Look, I have ADHD. It's debilitating to a maddening degree. I've had job opportunities, very big ones that I have been very excited about in the past, and I just wake up and completely forget that it's happening. It's that bad. So I can't talk about the forgetfulness part. However, if you are going to Las Vegas for a bachelor party, you better make sure that you have a system in place to make sure you don't forget about your wedding band and having it on your finger, because the optics are just so bad if you don't do it. You better super glue it on there, okay? If you don't have super glue nearby and you're catching a flight and you're in a hurry, find a staple it on there, brand it, anything, because your fiance is going to murder you if you don't. It's also very common for people who go to Vegas to leave their wedding bands behind, as this person mentions in the comment. That's a big deal, so don't do it. By the way, I did check to see if these folks are still together, and they are. I don't know if this was either just an innocent mistake or she forgave him. I don't know. But all that being said, since there's kind of a gray area there, we don't know for sure, I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 10. This creator, Sarah, posted this very long story time about why she divorced her husband after only 1 month. And it all stems from something that happened on the actual wedding day. Her husband, Kevin, was known to be an occasional heavy drinker. I don't know what that means because you either heavily drink or you don't. It's not really a half in, half out kind of thing. You're either an alcoholic or you're not. But anyway, that's what was used, occasional. And she told him directly that she was very worried about him going off and drinking at the wedding. He assured her that he would not do that. So the ceremony went by, nothing really went wrong until Sarah's family sat down and they noticed that Kevin's family was not present and sitting there. So they made a comment about it, and that set Kevin off.
So there's a whole table empty. My dad made a comment, like just stupid comment, like, oh, like you guys wasted all this money and you have this empty table. And then Kevin got like really heated, like, no, like I'm not dealing with this, and kind of just like walked out.
So he raged, he stormed off. Her sister and then 2 of his friends went to go find him, and they found him passed out drunk in his hotel. So he broke his promise to her. That night at the hotel, his friends told Sarah about what had actually gone down at the bachelor party.
Kevin was drunk the entire weekend, ate a whole chocolate bar of shrooms, and just was like getting really erratic, telling everyone that like he can fight everybody.
You're fighting on shrooms? What?
The incident did not really resolve itself. It just kind of carried over into their lives and made small things turn into really big things, like this plumbing incident that they had at a rental property of theirs. She was trying to fix like a leaky bathtub faucet or something, and it exploded, and so she frantically called him in a panic and was asking him for help, and so he was trying to help her, and she wasn't quite getting it.
Calling me names, yelling at me like, what the f*** did you do? Are you f***ing stupid?
But wait, it gets worse.
When he came, he was screaming, yelling again with the insults, everything. Got in my friend's face. After he left the property, my friend found this. Out of whatever anger Kevin had, he ripped that door off its hinges and threw shit.
Petrified pirouette! Again!
And even his own friends confirmed this was not a one-off thing, and they told her, look, we have no idea what's even happened to him. He's completely changed. So she divorced him. Now, to me, it's obvious that this is some kind of alcoholic, self-destructive kind of issue, not only because of obvious reasons, but also because of how he interacted with the shrooms. Now, me personally, I have interacted with, the little dome plant there. I've done it a time or two, not very much. But the 2 times that I did it, I was bawling my eyes out. I could not stand up. I didn't want to stand up. And I was overwhelmed with immense joy. It was wonderful, if I do say so myself. So the fact that this man ingested an entire chocolate bar full of shrooms and it somehow ended in him being rageful, the only thing I can think of how that would be humanly possible would be the booze. The booze just was so much that it overrode the shrooms, which I can't understand how that's possible. So you pair that with the name calling and ripping the door off of its hinges. This is about as red flag worthy as it gets. So I would probably say 10 out of 10 on this one for sure. This next one just reaches maximum levels of ridiculousness. This one comes from a creator named Riley. She had this very short-lived marriage with a man who she divorced. And in the middle of her filing for divorce, he sent her a very long list of everything he gave up to be with her.
Every woman that I could have slept with since you and I got together. I gave up my free time during the week to work a 9 to 5 so we could get ahead financially.
I gave up on refusing to brush my teeth so you don't have to smell my tongue. I committed to wearing clothes every day so other women don't see my penis. I gave up on refusing to wash my butthole so you don't have to.
I gave up regular conversations with many women just so that you could have the certainty that I wasn't going to even get close to cheating on you. Gave up acting like a jerk to be humble and studious to your family rather than prideful.
You had to stop being a dick. Oh.
She also posted a follow-up video of basically rundowns of red flags that she saw throughout their marriage. And there was one in particular that I found fascinating, really.
When the electricity went out on 2 of our rooms, including a bathroom, and our washing machine was broken, and I tried to get him to fix it for about 9 months, he told me that I should have been more grateful and that it was a test to me because people back in the olden days didn't have that kind of stuff.
2 big things that narcissists love to do. Number 1, they love to act like the bare minimum is just the maximum. You know those parents that say stuff like, after everything I've done for you, you treat me like this, I give you food and water and shelter. I'm like, yeah, because that's the law. If you don't do that, you're going to be wearing an orange jumpsuit and Crocs. for the rest of your life. And then number two, they love to act like they're teaching you valuable lessons. Like they have this overwhelming amount of knowledge about how the world works, and they want to share it with you, not to educate you, but to control you, because they want you to think like they know everything and they have all of the answers. So you just need to sit back and listen to them, and they'll teach you everything. It's a manipulation tactic, really. And those are two things here that are on full display. And you see why it didn't work. Of course, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. This video is sponsored by Hims. Is your fella's flag stuck at half-mast? That is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, I'm about to turn 35 in a couple of months. I've had some days where he didn't want to wake up either. Hims provides access to personalized treatment plans for fellas who want to have better fun time. If prescribed, there are options that fit your daily life. Daily options, before-the-moment options, pills, chews, whatever you need. The whole process is 100% online. You answer questions about your health history. A licensed provider reviews everything and determines if treatment is right for you. And if prescribed, your plan ships for free in discreet packaging. Your mailman will simply never know. No one will, if you don't want them to. You don't need insurance for this. There's no waiting rooms, no clipboard small talk, and you get unlimited messaging with licensed providers whenever your plan needs adjusting. It's like you shrunk a little medical professional and just shoved him in your pocket, which, speaking of shrinking, did you know? No. If you want his flag back at full mast, hit the link in my description or scan the QR code on screen and learn more about how Hims can help your partner get his confidence back. Thank you to Hims for sponsoring. A creator named Mark posted a TikTok story time recently, and it was about why he divorced his husband after only 3 months. We'll call him Greg for the sake of this story. We don't know his name. Mark and Greg dated for probably 7 years. They were in an open relationship, but Mark had one rule: do not sleep with this specific person. I don't know the guy's name either, so we're going to call this guy Chad Key. I don't know. Chad Key. I just combined two different names somehow. Chadke. But just before the wedding, Greg asked Mark if he could sleep with Chad Key just one time. And Mark was not cool with it because Chad Key would never acknowledge his existence in person ever, would never even look at him, but was constantly flirting with Greg, sending him flirty texts and all of that stuff. So he didn't feel like he was a safe person. He felt like Chad Key was gonna steal him. But Greg kept insisting on it and saying, no, I promise he's very safe and respectful. So Mark finally just agreed to it reluctantly. So Greg and Chad Key did it, they did stuff. But eventually Greg wanted more. He wanted to keep sleeping with Chad Key, so he asked if he could sleep with him again.
And I said, he makes me feel insecure. He wants you. I see how he looks at you. He doesn't talk to me. He ignores me. I don't feel comfortable with it. He finally was like, oh, fine, but I'm gonna resent you for it.
And then after this, it just kind of spiraled. Greg afterwards said that he was having feelings of regret about going through with the marriage. And then Mark found out Greg had been having an affair with Chad Key the entire time.
Petrified pirouette. Why are you still spinning? I'm not sure.
So essentially, Chad Key did exactly what Mark was terrified of. But Chad Key didn't want to stop there. He couldn't stop at just stealing the man. It was not enough.
This person took me to court for alleged assault, which did not happen. And that court case has been dropped. And yes, the person who infiltrated my marriage took me to court.
Okay, let me just hide in this hut and never leave.
Now this one, there were some details I left out for the sake of time because this is just a very long story, but there were red flags all over the place before the marriage even happened. Like Greg consistently expressed doubts. This wasn't the first time he expressed doubt before, but he expressed doubts about wanting to get married. He would change his mind back and forth, flip-flop. Greg also refused to do couples therapy at one point. So there was quite a lot of things that led up to this, which results in a 10 out of 10 on the red flag meter. This next story time ended in wild fashion just before the marriage even began. The creator, Lauren, had just bought a house and just got engaged. Right out of the gate, she could tell that things were not good. Something was off. She couldn't put a finger on it, but it was something. And it just seemingly got worse after they had just gotten engaged. She said maybe it was just a hard season and it would pass. She was hopeful that things would change. They did not. The day that it all came out, they had a nice day together. He had just gotten back from traveling, so they had a full date together, and it was nice.
Around 1 a.m., I get woken up to him shaking me awake, telling me he's going to pack me a bag and get me on a flight out of Chicago. I had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what time it was. All I knew is he looked terrified. He shoves his phone into my face, and all I see are bodies.
Excuse me?
An unknown phone number was sending him pictures of bodies, men in masks with guns, and they were sending him addresses and phone numbers of his family and friends, and they were claiming that they were connected to the cartel, accusing him of messing with their girls. They were like, hey, you're screwing with our girls, and we're pissed about it, so, we want a large sum of money to make it right. Right away, Lauren knew that this was an extortion scam, clearly. He did not.
My ex didn't know that, and he had been on the phone for an hour previous, giving them our entire wedding savings and all of the money in our savings account.
The reason he didn't know is because he was doing things behind her back, and he was trying to hide it.
The reason why his number was found online is because he had been on escort websites.
I feel pretty. Oh, so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and gay.
So she left him and moved back home to Texas, and she's currently rebuilding her life and her finances. Fun fact also, by the way, I saw in another video of hers that this is apparently a scam that happened to an entire town in Texas. So it's a common thing, apparently. It's a big deal. That being said, clearly, this is a huge red flag problem, horrible. So I'm gonna give it a rating of 13 out of 10. This deserves more than 10. This story time ended with the silent treatment, and it's one of the weirdest forms of silent treatment I've ever heard of, and probably you as well, I don't know. But Kennedy and her husband were a brand new couple, and right out of the gate, Kennedy was having health issues. She had to have gallbladder surgery, and her husband claimed that he was not capable of helping her and tending to her. So he made her drive out of town to her parents' house, and her parents had to take care of her. And he would not explain why this is. He went silent for many, many days and refused to answer calls and texts. Nobody knew where he was or what he was doing. And then finally, when he responds and answers, he's upset that her family is helping her and saying it should be him instead.
He answered my FaceTime call. It was probably like a 5-minute phone call, and he probably said like 2 words the entire time. Like, he just stared at me.
She told him she loved him twice on that call, and he did not reciprocate it once. And so later he explained why over text.
And he said, I'm trying to love you, but it's just so hard.
Oh, what does it mean? Your words are soaked in ambiguity and I don't like it.
That's it. No explanation. Wouldn't elaborate further. Kennedy never got a full answer. So you kind of really have to make your own conclusions. I think he got scared. He was like, oh shit, I just got married, and he couldn't do it and couldn't stay committed. So he just torpedoed it. And she basically came to her own conclusion as well, which was that he was basically intentionally making her life miserable so she would break up with him. And he had to do something drastic because they had just gotten married. So that's what happened. And the reason why she thinks this is because he admitted earlier in the marriage that he wouldn't be able to be the one to divorce her. So she would have to be the one to do it if they ever did it, which is very cruel. It's a very cruel and kind of unique way to do it, but very cruel. It's almost like he's like an abuse assassin, just like lurking in the shadows and watching and waiting, which is kind of worse. So I'm going to give this one an 11 out of 10. 11 out of 10, dude. This last one is a little different. This comes from a short video that I previously reacted to, I think like a year ago, something like that. But to this day, this is single-handedly the video that sticks with me more than any video I've ever reacted to. I can't believe that it happened. It shouldn't have happened. And what happened after it shouldn't have happened either. I have an update on this, if they're still together or not.
Anything you want to say to your future bride?
I hope we have a lot of sex. A lot.
Okay. I hope that open bar is stocked.
Only 2 things are required to keep me happy. Keep my belly full and my balls empty.
Well, this explains the weird RSVP card they sent us. Regret seems very probable.
Well, you're amazing at half of it. We really need to get you some cooking lessons.
Ma'am, madam.
Even when my belly isn't full, there is no one I could ever love more in this lifetime, unless I actually get a chance to meet Margot Robbie.
Maybe this will sound better if we turn on some emotional wedding music? I don't know.
Since the beginning, I was always told life gets even better when the kids fall asleep and you tell me to come to the bedroom.
Oh no, it's so much worse.
Nothing's better than the sound of gagging and headboard slamming.
Michael.
This suit wasn't his first choice, was it? He has to wear his birthday suit, didn't he?
P.S. Since you're so good at making decisions like marrying me, you can choose whether tonight's gonna end with being a toaster, strudel, or a Twinkie.
Oh, I already know how the wedding planning went. Honey, should we book a DJ? Sure, but first, How about I book a BJ? Ugh, grow up.
This is an older video I reacted to. It came from 2023, and I got to it in 2025. I wanted to revisit it because I genuinely think these vows would immediately end 99% of marriages right then and there on the spot. By all accounts, these folks should be joining the other folks that we've watched in this video today. But I looked into it. I found on Instagram that they are still together. And I found in the update video that this woman posted last year that she's basically just defending everything that he did, saying that this is their kind of humor. Nobody knows them like they do, and it's no big deal, blah, 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 blah. Look, if they are indeed happy together and she's okay with these kind of jokes at her own expense and him not mentioning anything about her once and all of the vows, fine. But do we have to do this in front of the whole family? Do we have to do it in front of the kids and the grandparents and the kids? Your kids? Kids are going to grow up thinking that this is normal. And it's not. This would work for almost 0 people. Ma'am, you might be the only one that this works on. And if it works for you guys and you guys are great, great. I'm not judging that part. I'm just saying maybe we shouldn't have done it like this, in this environment, in front of these people. Anyway, I have another story time for you. You just have to click the box in the top left-hand corner to watch it. This is a story about a woman who called CPS on her own best friend. It is a very, very wild one. That's it. That's my time. Toodles.